Recently, I read almost the entirety of the Absolute Batman comic series. As of recording, it's I think 19 issues, and then there's one annual release. It's still ongoing, so I believe there will be more issues coming our way. As a principal, I don't really engage with comics. I know there are people, I know there are kids that have enough time on their hand to go through all these comic book issues and continuities and universes. And I mean, when you are 16 years old, when you are 14, 12 years old, uh, it's quite cool to see all your superheroes in really good art and stories and plot lines that matter. And what I can say about the Absolute series and Absolute Batman series in particular is that it is dealing with a lot of adult themes, so to speak, and very grown up stuff. So I kind of have to assume that while there are kids who enjoy this comic series, I'm pretty sure it has a very active adult following as well. Let's go with the pros first. I'm just giving you my first impression slash first opinions. It might change when I sort of marinate on this further. For me, one thing that strikes when you look at it as a visual medium is the proportions of the characters. They are quite how to say, very unearthly, very not of this world, so to speak. And I think it gives the comic series its charm, so to speak. And I like the artwork. The artwork is a strong point. It's not like the kind of realistic shading that you see in modern comics. You can read it, and it's quite artful. That it's not completely realistic, and the panels sometimes use this to their advantage. Across the issues, you'll see a number of panels where it's just two colors in the entire panel, and these kind of panels help to convey emotions, and it's very visually striking. And what I have to say about the premise itself is that it is a total inversion of the usual Batman story. Usually, Batman is a very rich person, and that's how they have time to engage in this kind of vigilantism, and that's how they have so much resources at their disposal to buy all this equipment, and it's in a way a perfect cover because he is a rich bachelor. I would say it's the normal way a Batman story is set up. The thing with Absolute Batman is that it's a total inversion, and I think it's quite first of all, it's very creative. I think it appeals really well to the generation or in 2026. In a way, I feel that we are in late stage capitalism, and the idea of social mobility and upwards mobility, career growth, all of that is sort of foreign for these younger generations in 2026. There is a certain kind of anxiety that you will be stuck in the lower rungs of the society forever. And this comic series is arriving to the scene at the right time, because a lot of us are struggling, and a lot of us are failing to recognize with the traditional Batman storyline. And more to the point, in this iteration, in this Absolute series, Joker is the ultra wealthy business guy. And I don't know, I never really thought about it, but I feel that it is very, very apt. And it makes total sense that someone like that would be, you know, rich. The entire story is about you know, pressing issues in a way, and it deals with a lot of in crime and how people deal with it, and the different reactions to the societal decay that happens around you, the kind of consequences of vigilantism in a way. And I would say well, this is a good and a bad thing, and I'm going to discuss this in the cons section. But in a way, it at least half-heartedly points the finger at the actual root cause of societal decay, and that is the rich, the upper class, the people who are untouchable. And the story deals heavily with that, and the overarching plot is rich people building a black site off the coast of Gotham, and using that black site to experiment on unwilling people who they have arrested without cause. And I think that's incredibly powerful. It's something that has happened, and it is happening. You look at modern America, the use of force within the country to stifle dissent. It surprised me at some points, the way it was quite bold at painting a full picture of what's happening. And more to the point, this iteration of the Joker is, first of all, he's quite rich, and he apparently owns a bunch of islands across the world, and I'm sure that will conjure up very interesting images. Right, anyway, off to the cons. So I only really have one major contention with this entire plot, and it is where is the United States government, right? We look at the modern world today in objective terms, and we see that the US government, the US state, has a overbearing presence in our life, in our culture, and in very pressing social and economic issues. It is a ever-present entity. It's kind of a omnipresent entity in current times. I was looking at Skull Mask guys wreaking havoc, and I was like, where is the United States Air Force? Where are they? Nowhere to be seen. Like, what's up? It's not accidental, and I think the reason for that is two-pronged. The first thing is that it is not present to make the story work, because vigilante like Batman can only exist when the state power, the state capacity cannot handle the kind of crime that's happening in Gotham. So if the police force cannot enforce rule of law, then it provides capability, and it provides space for vigilantes like Batman to operate. But more importantly, I feel like it obscures the actual reason for all the ills in the world of absolute Batman. Depiction of this antagonist, people that can influence everything, right? I think it is very clever. I mean, it's not groundbreaking commentary, but it's very clever. It doesn't really go beyond that, right? And again, this is a children's comic, so maybe they shouldn't, maybe this is not the time and place for that. But like moving just a little bit beyond that, the question to ask is why? How come these people were able to accumulate so much wealth and so much power that they can do these kind of villainous acts? What kind of system allows people to amass wealth like that? And that question is in a way it's addressed. It is mentioned multiple times within the first mini arc also, the zoo arc, where Pennyworth and Bruce Wayne, they talk about how much bigger this is than Bruce Wayne, how much bigger this is than one person, right? But they kind of stop there, right? And now that I'm thinking about it, uh, it's very clever because like in that way you don't really have to address the actual problems plaguing our world, right? Because most of the um, issues and situations are drawn from the real world, but they can conveniently not talk about the actual reason these things happen, and instead they can use it as a plot point to move the plot forward and make Batman look cool. And again, that's what we are paying for, so I get that. But at the same time, it was funny to me that they are willing to tread so close to this subject. um, Now that I think about it, I feel that even my rant is kind of half coherent because um, it's just a collection of my thoughts. But yeah, tell me what you think about this.